I'm on my way to the Wound Center. The Wound Center. I have a wound. That's why I'm on my way to the Wound Center. Welcome everyone, Jim Williams here, coming to you from the beautiful paradise of Central Florida, JWW on the move. Thanks for joining me today. Today's Thursday, the 22nd of January, 2026. Today I'm in Kissimmee, Florida, and I'm standing at the base of the Monument of States. And there it is. On December 7th, 1941, the Japanese Empire attacked Pearl Harbor. On December the 8th, America, the Congress, declared war on Japan. And then a few days later, I think it was December 11th, Germany and Italy declared war on the United States, and the United States reciprocated by declaring war on Germany and Italy. Well, in the fervor of the patriotism that arose out of those declarations of war, there was a doctor, a retired doctor here in Kissimmee, who had an idea of bringing together all the states in solidarity, and he and another friend designed this Monument of States, a pyramid, if you will. His idea was to solicit from every state in the Union a stone, some kind of rock from that state, and put them all together and build this monument. That was completed, I think, in 1943. Now, what originally started with letters to the governors of the states, at that time there were only 48 states. Hawaii and Alaska were not at that time states. So he wrote to the governors, and the governors sent a stone from their state to be contributed to this Monument of States. The purpose of the monument was to give a symbol, if you will, of the unity and solidarity of the states in the war. It stands approximately 5 stories high, weighs several tons of stone, cement, iron, and so on, and was dedicated, if I'm not mistaken, in 1943. It's been refurbished a couple of times through the years, and not only are there stones from the original 48 states, but as the project progressed, there were other countries around the world that contributed to the monument. Here is Here's one in South Africa. Here is another one. Hawaii was not yet a state at that time, but they have made their contribution. But then there were different entities, companies, as well as the states, contributing to the monument. Atop the monument is a blue globe with an eagle on top and the United States flag. Train! Where's the train? Where's the train? Did I miss the train? Well, shoot. There was a train. Because I heard it. I heard the train. As you can see, Belgium, Center Rock, and England, Center Rock, Greece, Center Rock, and there are some places that have no designation or no name where they came from. Canada, Center Rock. The monument was the brainchild of Dr. Charles Bressler Pettis, and he and his friend J.C. Fisher designed the monument and instigated the collecting of the stones by writing to the governors of the 48 states. In all, when everything was finally completed, 1,500 donated stones made up the monument. And then there are other objects besides just the stones. When I see this monument of states, I'm reminded of a song that I learned years ago when I was a youngster, and we would go to summer camp, and during the summer camp there was a song of states that we would sing. I mentioned this in a video years ago, and I'm going to mention it again now. The song goes like this. What did Delaware, boys? What did Delaware? What kind of noise is that? Somebody that wants to be noticed. I noticed it. All right, let's do that again. What did Delaware, boys? What did Delaware? What did Delaware, boys? What did Delaware? What did Delaware, boys? What did Delaware? I ask you now as a personal friend, what did Delaware? She wore her New Jersey, boys, she wore her New Jersey. She wore her New Jersey, boys, she wore her New Jersey. She wore her New Jersey, boys, she wore her New Jersey. I tell you now as a personal friend, she wore her New Jersey. Now that's the way the tune goes. And you can add in a variety of states. For example, how did Flora die, boys? And the answer is, she died in misery, boys. And then, where has Ori gone, boys? And the answer is, she's gone to pay her taxes. And then there's, what did I weigh, boys? And the answer is, she weighed a Washington, boys. And then, what did Idaho, boys? And the answer is, she hoed her Maryland, boys. And then there's, why did California? And the answer is, she phoned to say Hawaii. And then what did Tennessee, boys? And the answer is, she saw what Arkansas, boys. And then what did Mississippi, boys? And the answer is, She sipped her Minnesota. 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 I tell you now, as a personal friend, she sipped her Minnesota. Now you're going to be whistling that tune all the rest of the day. Maybe you'll even be singing some of the words. What do you think? If you ever have an opportunity to come to Kissimmee, come down and investigate the Lakeshore Park. It was renovated back in 2013. They have a very nice facilities here, places you can, picnic tables you can rent, large facilities for gatherings and so forth and so on. And then you've got here on the edge of the property, the Monument of States. Come check it out. Come check it out. Everybody's interested in the Monument of States. Here's a veterans memorial dedicated to those who have served and are serving. Commitment, sacrifice, honor, family, duty, integrity, courage. And they have these monuments for the United States Coast Guard, for the Department of the Air Force, Department of the Navy, the Marine Corps, and the Department of the Army. The Army was the first one. Notice the date. 1775. That's when the Army was formed to protect the colonies from Great Britain prior to the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. So this monument is here for the veterans of all the armed services, also here at the Kissimmee Lakeside Park. Hello, Mr. Squirrel. Hello, Mr. Squirrel. What you doing? Are you looking for some lunch? Are you looking for some lunch? Good morning. Mr. Squirrel with a twitchy tail. Nice to meet you, my friend. Where are you going? Are you getting ready to go? There goes Mr. Squirrel. This is Lake Tehopekaliga over in Kissimmee. I guess they call this West Lake Tehopekaliga. There's some fishermen guys out, probably bass fishing. They're in their boat. Traffic is stopped. Construction work. There's a guy that didn't stop. He don't want to wait. Construction work ahead, 1-lane traffic. The sign said to be prepared to stop. So here we are. stopped. The joys of traffic in the beautiful paradise of Central Florida. A whole bunch of cars are passing in the other lane, going the other way. I can only imagine that our turn will come next. Nope, not yet. Okay, now we're rolling. Rolling. That car's gonna pull out in front of me. Look at you go, dude. Heading over to the thang place now to get that thang for my wife. Hope they can hit me. And my wife told me to stop by and pick up one of these things. It broke. So I got to go by the thang store and get me one. Hope somebody at the thang store can hit me. I got the thang. Boy, is she gonna be happy. Well, that's gonna do it for today. Thanks for going with me along on the ride. Let's see. Got my wound fixed. I got thingy fixed. I got to see the Monument of States. You know, it's a terrible thing to be forgetful. It's a terrible thing to get forgetful. It reminds me of those two guys. They were talking one day. Let's call one of them Bob, and we'll call the other one the other Bob. So Bob says to the other Bob, "Man, what is the name of that restaurant that you and your wife like so much?" And the other Bob sits there for a second and says, let me think here. What's the name of that red flower with the little prickly things on the stem? And the first Bob says, Rose? And the second Bob says, that's it, Rose. Hey, Rose, what's the name of that restaurant that we like so much? See you in the next video, if the Lord wills. Bye.
Wow.
Great.